but can't stop thinking about my ex. What should I do? I, is that a question? Like, what should you do? Are you being serious right now? Are you married? You can't stop thinking about your ex. Anyway, this is an article from a dailymail.com. So let's see why this Caroline lady is right putting up this write up. It sounds weird, right? But most times emotion can be very, very demanding. Yeah, emotion can be demanding. And this stuff often happen when your past life keep haunting on you. Married but can't stop thinking about my ex. He was the love of my life. There's one thing you mustn't do, says dear Caroline. Here is how to move on. I have a solid marriage, although no children, but I'm still plugged by thoughts about my first serious relationship. Many years ago, we were engaging and planning our future when he got cold feet and called it off. 6 months later, a mature friend told me that he had married. I felt devastated, so I had hoped we would get back together eventually. He was the love of my life. Oftentimes something like this does happen. What people fail to understand about relationship is that relationship is not a guarantee to better future. You being in a relationship does not mean your future will be guaranteed. And I found that so many persons fall into this mess because they did not enter the relationship with the right perspective. Yes, they did not enter it with the right perspective and the right questioning. And most times too, does I can't blame it on anybody who is in love, so to say, because you can be in a relationship and yet you're not in love, and the other person that seems to be in love seems to be uh, a victim. Is a victim because you're not real. You're not real to the other person. So if you are real to the other person, there's every tendency that you will show the same love, you will show the same vibe that the person is showing to you. But in the case of Caroline actually um, did not do enough research. I'll tell you why I said she didn't do enough research. Though the guy has his own plan why they were dating, but she should have done enough research in order to know if this guy is actually planning the same future which she's planning for him. And now she end up leaving him and leaving her, and it's causing her pain. But let's actually see how she managed the situation. This was a long time ago, but I find that I still think about him, of what might have been. In private moments, I often break down. I also find it difficult to trust anyone. I've not seen him since, but I know how I could contact him. I feel the need to tell him of the car crash he left behind, to just have one final conversation with him for closure. You know, the feeling in the first place have already been divided. The feeling have been divided. If you're in a relationship where one person seems to be more in love than the other person, you should notice it from the start. You should notice it from the start, from their attitude, from their action, from everything they do. You should notice it from there. But in this case, he's moved on because he's married. Probably he was dating you and dating another person. Yeah, he was dating you and dating another person, and right now he has gotten married, and you're there thinking he'll come back to you. many a times it doesn't work that way, and it shouldn't work that way. If somebody is able to move on without you, it shows the person didn't love you in the first place. Because anybody that loves you real hard with everything he knows about you will fight to stay with you. But in this case, he has already moved on, and you're wondering if you can move on like him. If you aren't ready to move on, don't look for a partner, because you're only looking for a partner to replace him. You're not looking for a partner to love. You're looking for a partner to replace him. And you looking for a partner to replace him could be damaging to you and the new partner. Let me tell you why. Let's see the second article. I am so frustrated that I have let this memory follow me over the decades. My head tells me this would gain nothing. If he told me he had made a mistake and should have stayed with me, it would break my heart. But if he were to say he'd never thought about me, it would have the same impact. How can I stop being tormented by this? The first, if I were the one being written to on this letter, the first thing I will ask you to do is to get a therapy. Yeah, to get a therapy. Love is more than drug. I must stay for free. Love is more than drug. Some drug, you can easily go by it. It can even help you to overcome it. But you see the case of love, it can stick with you till maybe you die. And the problem why it's a bigger problem is because you feel you're okay, you feel you're fine, you feel that everything is good, but your psychology shows that you're not really fine. So that is why if it were to be me writing this letter, I will advise you to do what? To get a therapy. And you getting a therapy will go a long way for you. It will help you to reinstate your state of mind. Caroline writes, let's continue. I'm very sorry. This is still so painful for you. To break up with someone who you had been planning a future, followed by the shock of him moving on so quickly, must have hit very, very deeply. And of course, what do you expect? Breakup, breakup most times is not something you plan. Breakup sometimes is not something you plan, and this is an accident to you. Yes. Why the other person? It's not an accident to the person. Why? Jesus. Take. Sorry, guys. So I'm very sorry. This is still so painful for you. To break up with someone who you had been planning a future, following up with a shock of him moving on so quickly must have hit very deeply. That is why I would tell her for free that you see that guy doesn't love her. Doesn't love her. In fact, it's either he's fed up of her in the first instance. The guy is very, very fed up. So there is no way he could communicate to her that he's fed up. So he chose to continue without her. I'm telling you. But let's see what actually resulted. I went to say as gentle as I can though that what you are holding on to now is not reality. Okay. Over the years, this relationship has been frozen in at its most intense point, and understandably imbued with everything you hoped it would become. But it never had the chance to be tested by ordinary life. Please don't be tempted to contact this man. You have already thought through the possible scenarios, and none of them led to a good outcome. See, if I'm telling you something, just believe it. That if this guy actually had any feeling, he's dead long time ago. He's long time dead. That feeling is no longer there. So you killing yourself for feeling that he's dead shows that you're not being reasonable. Something serious is really happening inside you, and you need a therapy. You need to see a doctor that will help you come out of that dream that you're still dreaming. It's a big dream, and you coming out of that dream will really take a lot of time, and it will only surface if you understand the present. Let's continue. I imagine you have never addressed this less and grief in therapy, which is perhaps what you need to do now. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Good night now. All right, let's continue. As I said, she needed the therapy. She needed the therapy. I guess that's where we stopped. Okay. She, these looping thoughts are burdening on obsessive and a structured approach such as cognitive behavioral therapy might help to loosen their grip. It would also give you a chance to talk about your marriage and what you truly want. And outside expressing what you truly want right now, you can never get help. Yes, you can never get help. You keep fantasizing, you keep thinking, you keep admiring the past life, which will, if I'm not mistaken, will never come back again. It can never come back again. So you keep admiring those life is of no use. But let's understand it that it's never your fault because it was a relationship. It worries me that you call your former partner the love of your life. You have a long standing marriage, yet a part of you is still emotionally tied elsewhere, which creates a distance from your husband that you might not even be aware of. If you are constantly thinking of someone else, it doesn't allow you to concentrate on your marriage and invest fully in that. Let bygone be bygone. Yeah, what have happened have happened. If you keep reacting this way, you are only causing damage to your present partner, which he is not even aware. He's very innocent of your situation. I'm very sure you didn't even tell him that you're facing this kind of problem, by the way. And he might be hoping for you to give out your best in the marriage, but you're not doing so. Yes, you're not doing so. And it shows you're not investing enough time and effort to make sure that he's happy. You might end up losing the first marriage and the second marriage if you continue like this. So the best thing is to spill out what do you really want. Miss Caroline, what do you really want? If you're able to spill out what you really want, it will go a long way to help you and your partner. And I wish I could speak to your spouse because he must be going through a lot. If you go on to see a therapist, he must see a doctor. Yes. One painful truth might be that this marriage is not right for you. Perhaps you married on the bond of this previous relationship and you are stuck in the past. See, if I'm saying something, just believe me. Yeah, believe me. You are in that marriage just for you to get rid of the first thought. It's like it hits back. You don't hit back life that way. First of all, what you're supposed to have done is allow time to pass. When you allow time to pass, it will give you energy to think and deliberate on what have actually happened. Even if you have somebody in life right now that want to proceed with getting married to you, you can give the person opportunity to wait for a longer time, making the person understand that you don't really hate him, just you just need time to settle some things. That's what you would have done, but you went ahead to get married. But let's see what your dear friend keeps telling you. However, it could be that because you never walked through these feelings and because of your issues with trust, you have been holding back all these years, afraid of getting hurt again. Uh, I must tell you, if issues like this occur, you aren't supposed to be holding yourself. Yes, you're not supposed to be holding yourself, bro. I do transfer now, 1K, everything 1.5. You aren't supposed to be holding yourself because it will go on hurting you Papi, as long as you are there. Looking for looking to strengthen and nurture the marriage you have might help you to let go of unrealistic fantasy. Finally, you could read the Sea, an uttered compelling book by Iris, which reveals the reality of an idealized relationship and the trap that it could. If you see him, you bring him, give you your money. It is in many ways a painful road, but it might help you to stop going through all the what if and be able to move forward. Very simple case. It's a very simple case. Just learn to stop hurting people. You feel you've been hurt. You have been hurt, but right now you're hurting more people than yourself. Yes. I don't know if your recent marriage, you guys already have kids. I don't know if you already have kids, but if not, the family of the person you got married to, the person you got married to, and the friends of the person you got married to is really going through a lot from you because you never had the intention to pour out yourself completely, which is very bad. She ignored my child rearing advice. My daughter-in-law, I don't know if this is part of it, but let's go. My daughter-in-law, my youngest son, wife, pleasant enough, but has always been directionless and a bit vague. Now they have a 15-month-old baby. However, she's refusing to start potty training him. I brought it up I brought up four boys and they were all potty trained. By the time they were 18 months old, but she ignores my advice. She said that it's too early and he doesn't seem ready yet. I'm worried that she's setting up problem for herself by being too laid back and that my youngest grandson will be left to his own advice too much and not be given enough structure. Caroline writes, try to relax. You seem overly worried about alright boss. Such a tiny aspect on a good night aspect of child rearing and letting yourself catastrophize from that thought to imagine a whole unveiling of your grandson's future. In fact, some studies show that potty training has greater success if you tackle it after 2 years old. So I guess this is some of Caroline's line to the later hero she's responding to. So tell me, what's your thoughts on this issue? Do it to drop it in the comment section.